Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Behind the Blind. This is Nadir.
And this is Yadira.
Hey Habibti, how you doing?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing peachy. So, today we have a special treat, and this may span a few episodes. It all depends on how much detail Yadira wants to share, but she kept the exclusive for Behind the Blind. All right, we got the exclusive. Everyone else has got bits and pieces. We're gonna get the long form version of this.
Of what?
Of Yadira's conversion story. I didn't say that until now.
No, you didn't.
But if you look at the title, you would know that this is exactly what it's about. So, is the longer version the abridged version?
No.
That's the shorter version.
Yes.
So this is not the abridged version.
Right.
This is the lengthened version.
This is.
Why do they call it the abridged version?
Because it's
A bridge is long.
I'm done.
I mean, this is my logic.
I was going to give you an actual explanation, but we're done. Okay, we're moving
good.
on.
All right. So Yadira,
yes.
tell us your conversion story. Start from the beginning.
Sure. Let's see, inshallah. Bismillah. So I was born and raised in a Puerto Rican Catholic home. My grandmother raised me. My mother had me young, and I never met my father. He was just never involved in my life. So my grandmother raised me. Alhamdulillah, my mother and I have a great relationship now. And I mean, her and I have always been like sisters, not really mother-daughter. But the funny thing is that my kids, they adore her, and she's this incredible grandma to the kids. But her and I are more like sisters. So it's a little bit complicated, I guess, from the outside looking in.
But you have a good relationship.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we have a great relationship. And, I'm very grateful. And so I was born completely blind. I already, kind of discussed all that. And
we talked about that.
Yeah, and so all of that plays a role,
Of course.
And I was raised in a practicing Catholic home, so we went to church every Sunday, and we did the rosary every night, and, all the things that you would do that in a normal Catholic upbringing.
So is praying rosary every night a normal Catholic upbringing thing?
It used to be. I don't know how things, roll now. But
Okay.
but yeah,
Gotcha.
It's not mandatory, but it's done. It's practiced a lot. It's particularly in the Latino community.
What is praying the rosary?
So praying the rosary is when you have that set of beads, and there are specific prayers assigned to the rosary. So you read a specific prayer, which is the Hail Mary, a certain amount of times, and then the Our Father a certain amount of times, and I think the Glory Be. I don't remember it exactly. We're talking. I haven't been Catholic for
hot minute.
A while. Yeah.
Almost. I mean, we're gonna date this episode, right? But at least almost 18 years.
It's going
right?
on 18 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
SubhanAllah. Right.
We are in 2022.
Yes.
So okay.
Yep. It's going on 18 years.
Yes.
This year will be 18 years.
Yes.
And so alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Okay. So
all right, keep going. I'm just being.
We're gonna have to mute your mic.
You ain't muting nothing. I tried that already, and I don't know how to do that. So there.
I can't function with you.
Listen, I'm the levity to the seriousness. Okay, this is how it works. All right.
Okay.
All right. I've been quiet for most of these episodes because I gave you a platform, but now I just got to be silly for at least like 10 seconds.
That's funny because you're so much more the face of Islam by touch, you know, and you're Mr. Serious.
Everyone thinks I'm Mr. Serious.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you're not. You are
far from it.
You're just a goofball.
1,000,000%.
So anyway,
yes,
I forgot where I was. Okay, so I was born.
I was asking you about the rosary and stuff like that. You were talking about being Puerto Rican Catholic. You prayed the rosary every night. Typical Puerto Rican family.
Yes. Okay. So
Catholic family.
Catholic.
Excuse me. Yes.
Right. Catholic family. So that's what's happening on the religious side. So now we are going to. This is a bit of a multifaceted kind of story.
Yeah.
So now, because I am born blind, there is the aspect of education and being in the education system and in the public school system, and in the challenges that I faced there. not just at home or anything like that. So I was, they say that I was the first mainstream child in New Jersey, but if I wasn't the first, I was definitely within that first batch or that group of kids that they just said, hey, we're going to test this out and put them in mainstream preschool. Because prior to that, blind children attended schools for the blind specifically. They didn't.
And then, alhamdulillah, I am a year younger than Yadira, so I was like within the second batch.
Yeah,
of
you
that.
know.
So
you know, us
Yeah.
80s kids, right? Like we were just kind of that test trial kind of, you know.
Yep. All the experiments were done
Yeah.
on us. Unbelievable. On everything.
So, you know, they had asked my grandmother and my mother, would they be willing to let me try that out? And they were like, of course. And that was again through the Commission of the Blind, which I had mentioned what that was in the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was enrolled in the local preschool, and you got to understand that at the time, again, no blind children had attended mainstream classrooms at this point. So, or at least very few. You know, like I said, I don't know how accurate the statement is of me being the first one, or like I said, they was definitely within that first group or first couple groups. So very, very new. So these teachers had no idea what to do with a blind student, although the Commission of the Blind was providing a lot of support. They had the vocational counselor who would come in and teach Braille to me. There was supposed to be the orientational mobility, the O&M instructor who would come and teach me how to walk around the classroom, how to use a cane, how to be able to travel independently. And this starts very young. I was, again, preschool.
Yeah.
I think it probably even started before, because I remember having tactile books, and I vaguely remember them coming to the house when I was very, very little. And I remember I was like 3. I got my first Braille machine, and I kind of remember playing with it. They're like little spotty memories, but I remember all that. So, these teachers have no idea what to do with me, and because I'm making my mere existence and presence at their class is making their job harder, they don't want to deal with me. So the solution for them, in their minds, is to mistreat me. So I would get my O&M instruction, and I was learning the layout, and it was exciting. And my grandmother would come drop me off every day at school, and the teachers would wait for her to leave, and then they would immediately grab me by the wrist and drag me to the little chair in the corner and make me sit there all day. And they wouldn't let me play. They wouldn't let me move around. Nothing. So this was going on without my grandmother knowing for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time, now we're pushing winter break, right? And they had given Christmas gifts to all the kids, the preschool. I think it was the Red Cross or Salvation Army. One of those had donated a ton of gifts.
Now, you got to talk about where you went to school.
Okay.
Right? Because you're saying people donated gifts.
So
and they don't donate gifts to every school.
No, I lived in the projects in New Jersey. It was poor. It was the hood. It was straight up.
You gotta be real about
the hood. It was. I mean, I don't know if everybody's, obviously right from here, from America, especially from the East Coast. You're used to, you're familiar with the hood, but it was the hood, the straight up hood. It was the projects. Back in the day, the projects don't look like that no more. But back in the day, we're talking bars on the windows. They look like the jail bars. Bars on the windows, especially on the first floor, because, there was shootouts and things that could happen. Straight up hood. So, poor, very poor,
Mm-hmm.
very underprivileged. Cops don't come around there, nothing, when things go down. But, so that was the school that I went to. And we, so they had donated these gifts, and they were like really good toys. And, they had given me a doll that was every other kid got a toy in a box, like brand new. But the doll that I came home with was messed up, dirty, and not in the not in its box. It was just you can tell it was old, used. It didn't. I think the doll was supposed to cry, but it didn't work. And a friend of my grandmother's actually worked for the whatever the organization was that donated the toys. And it happened to be that I think she either came over or she saw me with the doll somehow. I don't remember. I'm like 4 years old at this point. So
You don't care. You just got a doll.
right. And so
You're
she's like,
what doll?
right. She's like, where'd you get that doll from? It's like so shabby.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was like, I don't know. They were handing out toys at the preschool. And she was like, except the lady was like, why did she get that then? Where did that come from? That was not in any of the things we sent. We sent brand new, like top of the line toys. Like these were not just somebody's old ragtag. These were like toys that were, when they have a surplus from the companies and the toy stores, and they had to, so they took that surplus and they had donated it. So like all these kids got these really, really cool toys. And my grandmother was like, excuse me? So of course she goes and she's like, what is this? Why did she get that doll? And the teacher's response was like, who cares? She can't see anyway. It's not like it makes a difference to her.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge deal. And they got in trouble for that, and they got reprimanded, and they got put on warning. And I don't even remember if my grandmother threw her. I do remember this. She yanked the doll from my hands, and she threw it at the lady. And she said, my daughter does not need your charity. And we walked out of there. Because my grandmother was a seamstress. And so while we lived in a very poor area, we were okay. She had her own business. She was a seamstress, and she was a professional seamstress. So she would sew wedding dresses and all kinds, sweet 16 and fifth sweet, the quinceañera dresses, like, big.
Things like that.
Yeah, like things that are have
big event clothes.
Mm-hmm. So they have a heavier price
and
tag and things like that. Prom events.
Prom dresses.
And all that stuff. Right. Yeah. First communions. So these aren't just, your casual dresses. And my grandmother was extremely skilled. People would come from all over the state, even from New York, Pennsylvania, to come get her to do their dresses. So we were okay living in there. And the reason, by the way, that she was doing that is because she was trying to save up to buy a house. So, she was working. So, she was furious because she was like, you don't need that. Like, I can literally buy and sell all those toys that they have there. This is ridiculous. Like the fact that they only did it because I was blind. They only did that because who cares? She can't even see the dolls dirty. She can't see, who cares? And they really did not want me there. So that was that event. And then we fast forward a little bit after winter break. And I don't think it was too long after, because I remember that I had, like, on this event that I'm coming to talk about, I was wearing clothes that's more like winter clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can hear the kids.
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing, because I can hear the kids.
It's all right. This is going to be a common theme of these shows. People will be yelling in the background. Right.
Anyway, so remember that I had said that I wasn't allowed to walk around in the classroom. I wasn't allowed to do anything. My grandmother was unaware of all that. But it got to a point where one day I had to use the bathroom, and I had to go really badly. I had to go use the restroom. And I was telling the teacher, Miss, I really need to use the bathroom. And she was working with a little boy making a puzzle. I remember she was sitting kind of in front of me, close enough where I could tap her on her shoulder from the little chair that I was designated to. I said, I really need to use the bathroom. And she said, you need to wait. I said, but I really have to go. And time kept passing, and I kept telling her, I need to go. And she kept ignoring me. And at one point she said, I said, you need to wait. I am busy right now. And at that point, I just couldn't hold it anymore. And I just wiped myself in front of the whole class. And everybody started laughing and pointing. And the lady starts yelling at me that I was too big to do that, to make a mess. And I had dirtied everything, and I was too old for that. And what's wrong with you? And of course they had to call my grandmother, and I think it was my aunt that actually ended up coming to pick me up with a change of clothes. And that's why I remember that more, because she came with a pair of like sweatpants and a sweater. So, and she got me into clean clothes, and she took me home. And then my grandmother went in, and she just let him have it, and she filed a formal complaint, and she got the Commission of the Blind involved, and it was a huge deal. And then she found out that I hadn't been being allowed to move around. The Commission of the Blind found out that all the O&M instruction I was getting was for nothing, because they weren't allowing me to practice. Mm-hmm. It was a huge Huge problem, because when the vocational instructor would come to teach me Braille, they would let me get off the chair a few minutes, about half hour or so before, so that nobody would ever know.
Mm-hmm.
And so they never picked up on it.
So no, just go. You need to go and check your kids, especially if they're in some sort of public or private
And they're
school.
particularly disabled.
And they're disabled. You
Yeah.
better just go sneak in there and look and see
Just
how they're treating your kids.
honestly, because that's what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I was very little, and someone asked me, typical preschooler, like, "Oh, so how do you like school? Do you like school?" And I remember that I was standing there and I said, "I hate it." And no, the crazy thing is that nobody really bothered to ask why. They just said, "Oh, well, you'll like it. You just got to keep trying." And I remember thinking, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I was like 4 years old. And it was because of that treatment I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically my grandmother went back and forth, the Commission of the Blind. I mean, there was this huge thing launched, and then they outright asked, the director of the preschool had asked, and also it wasn't a private preschool, so this was like the public, state funded preschool.
Yeah.
So they were like, "What do you want done?" And she said, "I want them fired, and I want them fired now." So they were fired on the spot because of the mistreatment. That hold on, my phone.
What the hell is going on? Like,
the shift lady's texting me for the order.
I told you, bro.
Anyway, so yeah, they got fired, and then the Commission of the Blind actually paid for me to be enrolled in a private preschool, and I went there half the year. So that was a bit of a different experience. Sorry. Still dealt with a lot of things, but it was better. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of bullying and stuff from the other kids, and there was this one girl who was intent on making my preschool life miserable, and she would always anytime I picked up a toy, I remember she was...
What was the girl's name?
Her name was Regina.
That's
okay.
Right.
I was trying not to be petty. Okay.
No, you know the girl's name.
Her name was Regina, and her friend was Olivia.
What a jerk.
So I was trying not to be petty.
What a jerk. You're such a jerk, Regina. You and your stupid friend Olivia.
I don't know where they are. Anyway. And there was quite a bit of that bullying going around. Every time I picked up a toy, these girls would snatch them from me. They wouldn't allow me to play in the sandbox or anything like that. They were just, and I remember all of this because it was just so difficult managing all of that, being frustrated with not being able to really, because they would come up from behind me and snatch the dolls and things like that. And so I gotta admit that I was it's pretty feisty. So
was pretty feisty, huh?
Okay, I am.
Yes.
So
Quite.
You should never do that. But I just was like, I started kind of figuring, like, being able to really pay attention, hone in on where they were coming from. And so they would come try to take stuff from me, and I would just bite them. And I got in trouble a lot because I was a biter.
I married a vampire.
And I would get in trouble, and I'd be like, okay, but they were being mean to me first, and you didn't say anything. Like, I remember saying this. You're like, why didn't you say anything? Why'd you keep letting them take the dolls? I was playing with the doll first. So I bit her.
I mean, perfect logic.
For 4-year-olds, right? Like,
I mean, excellent logic.
So that was preschool. And then we move on to kindergarten, and it was kind of the same things. The teachers didn't really want me there, except that this was a much bigger school. And they had the whole child study team. That's, there was a whole lot more involved. So actually, the principal of the school was the one who was like really adamant that I attend the school, and he was really excited about me coming to the school. So whether he was really excited, the principal was very excited for me to actually attend the school because he was interested in my well-being, or he just wanted the funds that come along with your child attending a disabled child attending a public school, because they do get money for every disabled child. They get extra money for the school. So I don't know what his motives or intentions were, but the point being is that he was really excited for me to come, and so he was very adamant that I was going to be a student in the school, and so it worked in my benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And
my man wanted to get paid, son. He
yeah.
knew the funding.
Yeah.
He knew the funding. All right, so go ahead.
So anyway, he actually met his wife she was working on my case, and they actually ended up getting married. And so, anyway.
That's why he wanted you to come. He saw that lady.
Anyway.
He's like, yeah, I wanted to come to this school as long as you're coming too.
No, because she was just working on my case initially. It wasn't like she was just one of the advocates.
Yeah, you know what I mean, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude just does that. Whatever the hell he wants is to get the girl he wants.
Anyway.
Guys suck.
So, so I ended up attending the school, and that went a little better than, actually, a lot better. The students were a lot more receptive. The O&M instructors had a lot more freedom to come in, and it could be because at this point, there were more students getting involved into the programs and things of that nature. I don't know, but I do know that at some point my teacher, the one I had assigned, that was assigned to my classroom, she actually got diagnosed with cancer. And so halfway through the year, or even less, she had to stop working. And so we had like kind of substitutes all the time. And I remember one of the substitutes would not let me climb up the jungle gym because she said I was going to get hurt. And I'm like, okay, but I do this all the time with my family. Like, I go to the park and I play and I run. And so why aren't you letting me do this? So there was another no. And again, I don't really do well with that word. So when she wasn't paying attention and I knew she wasn't paying attention, I climbed up the jungle gym and I made it to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this one kid squealed on me.
While you were up there on
the top.
Yes,
at the top. He was like, Miss, she's at the top. And I was like, why you got to tell on me? So I got yelled at, and they were like, you need to get down, you're gonna get hurt. I was like, how am I gonna get hurt if I'm already up here? Like, I could not make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I got down and I was like, I did it. But then I got sent to the blue chair and with the blue table. What
is the blue chair and the blue table, wife?
That was the timeout.
That's the timeout area.
I was always there.
Yadira lived in the blue chair.
I did. I talked a lot, and I still talk a lot. Listen, when I get laryngitis and I don't speak, you go insane.
Yep. It's just a quiet house.
Yeah.
It's pretty quiet.
It drives you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was always at the timeout. And here's the thing. I had excellent grades and I did really well in school. So it made it even harder to pin stuff on me because it was like, why are you,
What are you going to say?
Yeah, what are you going to say? Like, she's doing what she's supposed to. She's just not doing it how I want her to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I think that's the theme of your life.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I got to do, but in my own way, so to speak.
And
right?
it tends to really upset people, a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's what was going on so far in school. I had teachers who, I had one teacher in second grade who really did not want me. She was my art teacher. And in her defense, right, no one liked her. It wasn't like she was just no one.
This is your art teacher?
Yeah, she was horrible.
Usually the art teachers are like fun.
No.
Or,
my God. She was just
high all the time or something.
Cantankerous old lady that was just, what is wrong? Why are you here? And you're working with kids too. Like, you're just mean. Nobody liked her.
I think they started the job off with passion, and then throughout the years it just died.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm so deep. I want my pension.
Yep.
Let me just ride it out until this is done.
But then the students pay for it because she was just,
I'm not excusing. I'm just trying to understand it.
I think so. It's a burnout. And she was clearly burnt out, except that she decided that she was going to do extra, lay it on thickly for me. So she would, I remember we had art right before lunch. And so all the kids had to walk down to the basement where the cafeteria was. And you had to walk in a line and go there to lunch from her class. She wouldn't take you. But with me, she would not let me go with the rest of the students. She would make me stay behind, and then I would have to find my way on my own. And then I would end up getting to lunch late, and then I got in trouble because it's like, why aren't you with the class? And that happened a couple times, and it got to the point where I told my grandmother, I'm like, this is what she's doing. So, of course, she went back to the school and had to deal with that. So that teacher didn't get fired because, pension at this point.
Tenure.
Tenure. Yeah, she had tenure, so they couldn't fire her, but she got suspended.
Mm-hmm.
And she was on risk of being transferred.
You dealt with a lot of crappy teachers.
I did, and this is part of the reason that we homeschool. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Part of the reason. It's not the only reason.
We'll have a whole episode on homeschooling.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be a very interesting episode.
But I can tell you that as a disabled person,
how
were your experiences? I know this is my conversion story, but I'm interested. Like, did you have to deal with teachers being that, like, having that much animosity towards you?
I had one teacher that really sucked. My third grade teacher, but I think that was more because I was Palestinian and very outspoken against Israel,
Mm-hmm.
more than me being blind. Like she
Gotcha.
literally bought my parents in for like a parent teacher conference, and it was like, "Oh, this is what your son is saying," and my dad looked at it like, "And."
That's too
so
funny.
so it really wasn't. I really didn't deal with crap from teachers about being blind. To be honest, I really
Okay.
didn't.
No, but I did. And, speaking of your dad,
Alhamdulillah, didn't
alhamdulillah.
deal with that.
Speaking of your dad, because you're first generation here,
Yeah.
and so am I.
Yep.
So my grandmother, she spoke enough English to, manage herself and whatnot, but it wasn't like, perfect.
Mhm.
So being the child of an immigrant mother, because for all intents and purposes, she's my mother, right? My mother and I have a sister relationship.
Mhm.
So these teachers would act up, and then I would have to go in and she'd be like, dile que yo dije, like, tell her I said. And
Is it?
and you're like, this kid, they're like, I don't want to say that.
No, no. Okay, go ahead. Give us an example, please. Just give us an example. Go ahead.
So
Say it in Spanish, and then say it as if you're talking to a teacher. We need this.
no.
We need this.
So okay, let's fast
part
forward
of
now.
The exclusives.
Well, okay, I did have one teacher I had a couple teachers who were actually really great. I can't lie. There were some teachers who were amazing, but unfortunately the ones who were horrible, they really stand out because the impact is so deep,
yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
And I had one too many. I had quite a bit of them. So I had a teacher in 6th grade who in 6th grade was amazing. She was all about me being independent, and she was great. She was actually my favorite teacher. Fast forward to we're gonna skip for this story. We're gonna skip 7th grade.
Okay.
7th grade is really important. Okay, and then eventually we're gonna have to circle back because I'm gonna get back to my family life, which probably might be in a different episode because
Okay.
I told you it's multifaceted.
Yeah, of course.
It's like 2 different tracks. You know what I mean?
We'll skip. I mean, listen.
So
we're
listen.
gonna take as many episodes as we need to get this all on wax.
Inshallah,
as they would say.
inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala. Yeah.
So we're going to 8th grade at this point, right?
Yep.
And you know how they send you your letter telling you who's your teacher, where's your homeroom, and all that stuff. So I get the letter, and I'm like, this is great. I have her again. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So I get to the class, and I'm standing in the line, and I'm smiling, and I'm happy. And she was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, getting ready to go to class. She was like, no, you're not. I was like, okay. I was like, but this is my class. And she was like, no, it isn't. It isn't. I'm not your teacher. I specifically requested not to get you. And I was like, oh, this is like this 13-year-old me that's like, I used to love this teacher. And so she's like, give me a minute. So she leaves. She goes to the next door class. I don't know what she says to the other teacher. And she comes back, really upset. Slams some papers and like the stuff she had in her hand down. And she was like, go find your seats. Like just completely pissed off. Excuse my language.
Yeah, no, completely pissed off. That's all right. Pissed off is okay.
But she was, and
Dams and hells are acceptable.
But I
here,
remember,
and pissed off.
I remember feeling like, what is happening? This woman was so kind to me, 2 years ago. Why is she treating me like she hates me? Like she could not stand me. And so that whole year, like she tried so hard to make me, to just make that year very difficult for me. And so one time, and my grandmother was very aware of this. At this point in my life, I'm very vocal with my grandmother about all the things that happened because she's had to make her way over to the school on multiple times to put people in their place.
What's the point of being quiet, right? If it's going to make you go through hell, so you might as well.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, Ma, this is what she's doing. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to just keep an eye on her. Mm-hmm. So if she does something, you let me know. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. One kid, she was just moody. Okay. Mm-hmm. And somebody had done something in the class. And I don't know. She was one of those teachers. Like if you do something, the whole class pays for it. If one student does something, the whole class has to pay for it. So this one kid did one thing and we got stuck with detention for a week after school. Now this is during winter, so the sun sets very early. Remember, I go to school in the hood where it is not safe for children to be walking in the dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course.
So, and she was releasing us like, school finished at like 2:45, 3 o'clock, and here we are 4:30, pushing 5 o'clock sometimes, and she just wouldn't let us go. Now my grandmother had actually picked up a part-time job by this point, and she had my cousin who worked at the school who would come pick me up, and she was like, listen, she's coming out of school super late. And then I told my grandmother, I'm like, this one kid did something, so now we all have to stay in detention for like a week, and that's pending because she says she'll extend it if she feels it's necessary.
Yeah. Just not a nice person.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
Not
at
fair,
all.
not nice.
No. So my grandmother said...
A total capital B word.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, at one point I called her that.
Okay.
I told you, Anyway.
10 points.
I was 13, okay?
All right, yeah.
Actually, it was during that whole thing. Because for one detention thing, I said, I'm not staying. I'm leaving. And she kind of got at me, and I was like, whatever, F you, B. And I walked out. And before, and the thing is, I told my grandmother, I said, Ma, this is what happened, and this is what I called her. Yep. This is what I said. I said, she's going to try to get me in trouble, but I'm telling you, this is what happened and why it happened. So my grandmother said, oh, sí. Right? She said, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Natalie finds it funny because I kind of sound like my grandmother.
It's hilarious.
And I look just like her. So anyway, she's like, okay, ya vamos a ver, right? We're going to see. Mm-hmm. She said, I'm going to go to the school in the morning. I'm going to go to school. And then you're going to tell her everything I tell you. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't mean for that. Like, and I'm like, oh, man, like, no, that's not.
Oh, man. Okay, good. I'm sorry. This is so funny.
And so,
okay.
We get to the school.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, oh my God, like, trágame tierra. Like, oh my God, ground, open up and swallow me. Because I don't want to be here, you know? So she goes, the lady, you know, she comes in looking with her nasty face. And my grandmother's standing there like she, you could tell she meant business.
Uh-huh.
So she turned around and she said, so she almost started saying, are you, she was going to, I guess, ask her, are you Yadira's mom? And she was about to start telling her all the things that apparently I was doing wrong. Because she said, are you? She said, no, tú me escuchas a mí. Like, you listen to me. And she's like waving her finger at the teacher. Why you this in front of all the kids?
All up in her face.
Yeah. And in front of the students and stuff.
Oh, man.
And that lady was like taken aback. And then she turned to me and she was like, tú dile que yo dije. Like, you tell her that I said. I said, no, mama. I didn't mean to. And she's like, dile.
So obviously she was not Latina. She did not speak Spanish.
No.
Okay.
She said, you tell her that I said that
you got to say it in Spanish and then you have to translate it.
Because she said, si tú la tienes en la escuela un día más tarde y algo le pasa, yo voy a bajar el playground con el pelo de ella. So she said,
so far I got playground out of
playground.
Escuela. I think I got escuela.
She said, if you keep her in school one more day late and something happens to her, I'm going to sweep the entire playground with her hair. I have to tell this to my teacher.
Say like my grandma said.
Right. I'm like, so my grandma said that if you keep me in school late and something happens to me, you keep me late one more day and something happens to me, that she's gonna, and my grandma, mind you, she's in the background, she's like, dile, like tell her what I said. And the thing is, my grandmother understood English everything. She didn't speak it well, but you couldn't get anything by her. She understood it fully.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get away with making something up because she'd be like, eso no fue lo que yo le dije. She's like, that's not what I said. That's not what I told her.
Yep. Because you ain't trying to get in trouble.
No.
You're like, forget you, teacher. I'm going to tell you exactly what you want me to say. I was like,
so she said she's going to sweep the playground with your hair.
And all the kids just started dying, I'm sure.
You know,
right?
Whatever, you know. And I was,
they're all 13, so it's like, oh.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, this is.
Was that it? Was that all she said?
And the lady was just taken aback.
No, is that all your grandmother said?
No, because then she was like,
go ahead.
She knows, si tú tienes un problema, yo llamo Miss Saltzman. She was like, if you have a problem, I'll call, she called Miss Saltzman. That was the vice principal. I get the vice principal, I get the principal, and I'll get you fired. I don't care. She was like, yo, aquí te votan de aquí. Because she was like, if they'll fire you from here, don't, you know, If something happens to my daughter because you want to keep kids after school, when you know you clearly shouldn't be doing this, I'm going to make sure there's going to be payback for this. Basically, I'm going to make sure that you understand that what you're doing is wrong, and you're gonna get what's coming to you.
Yep.
That lady didn't say nothing. She just turned around, walked. She just, lowered her head and walked down, and she was so nice to me the rest of that day.
What about the rest of the semester, though? Or
The rest of the semester, she was still
it's a year, right?
Yeah,
This is a year, yeah.
She was still trying to give me a hard time a little bit. But she scaled way back.
She checked herself, right?
Yeah, like way back. She kind of she only spoke to me on a need to speak to me basis. She didn't really. Because my grandmother was like, "No, tú dile," and I'm like, "I don't want to dile. Like, I don't want to tell her."
You gotta tell her. You better tell her. If you don't tell her, we got an issue.
Right.
So
right. I'm
yeah,
not.
you gotta tell her.
Like, I'm sorry, teacher. You can get mad at me, but I don't want my grandma mad at me. Like, that's not something I'm willing to deal with. Like, so
yeah.
So yeah, that was, and then so I graduated from 8th grade. I was like salutatorian of my class or whatever, and then I made it. Actually, in where I went to school, you had to apply to get into high schools. I ended up not going to the ones I applied to, even though I got accepted to the 3, because I ended up going to a different arts school. I was always, by the way, singing. I've been singing since I was 4 years old. I've been heavily involved in, like, I was in choir and the performing arts and all that stuff. So I went to school for the gifted and talented and for the arts in high school. I really didn't have too many issues with teachers. Oh yeah, when they tried to they did actually succeed in that. I had to take driver's ed. Driver's ed. And they made,
just in case.
They made me
Just
take
in
a
case
class.
you could see.
I passed the written test with like a 97 or something like that. And they gave me the stupid little card and like, okay, get your eye checked. And I was like, are you
like you ask yourself, is like, are you guys is like effing with me right now?
Are you willfully stupid? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, are they purposefully just doing these things just to mess with you?
I don't know, but I know this other blind student came in after me like 2 years later when I was
You're a senior or a junior?
No, I'm sorry. She came in when I was a junior.
Yeah.
So I took my driver's ed class my sophomore year. And she came in as a freshman when I was a junior. And then when I was a senior and she was a sophomore, she got to take freaking swimming classes. She didn't have to do the driver's ed. This is freaking ridiculous. And it was because of the fight that me and my family put up. Like, this is absolutely unfair. And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do. She has to take the course. But we put up such a fight that for the next student,
they didn't want
to deal with it. And so I think I learned really young that you have to put up the fight. If it's not for you, it's for the next one coming up.
Yeah.
And so that stood with me. You know, I had to put up that fight. Because, yeah, I was dealing with a lot of horrible things. But the next person that was coming behind me may not have to deal with it. And that was all right. I was really heavily involved, like I said, in the performing arts. I played the harp. I sang. I was in the drama club. I was in the school plays. And I was very active in all of that. A lot of that reasoning had to do with because it wasn't all perfect at home. There was a lot that went wrong at home, but I think that's for another episode.
Okay. Yep.
So then I went to college after that. I'm fast forwarding some stuff here because, again, different episode.
Gotcha.
I met you at some point.
You met me at some point.
After
this is your conversion story.
After high school.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. College and all that a little bit later because that's closer to my conversion itself.
Okay.
So that's kind of just my young childhood and my school experience at the hands of teachers who really, a lot of them wanted nothing to do with someone who was disabled. And how that experience is very real. So when your children are telling you that their teachers are doing certain things or staff are doing certain things, please believe them. Please believe them because it happens. And
now this is the question, right? So this is supposed to be your conversion story.
Yeah.
At least a part of it.
Yep.
So we, right now we're at like the 35-minute, 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
Right? We said nothing about Islam.
No.
This whole
because
time. And the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because I want you to kind of clarify
why
that this will all link together.
Oh, it will all link together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And why? Go ahead. Why? Yeah,
why?
That's really
because there, a lot of times when people talk about their conversion story, they go straight to the point, right?
Yeah.
For me personally, I don't know that there was a specific moment when it was like, oh, I'm questioning everything. I think there might have been. There were 2 key moments, but everything that I had endured and lived through, and the experiences I had shaped me. And I truly wholeheartedly believe that Allah was priming me to come to Islam without me knowing it.
Gotcha.
And I think he was setting that stage up. So standing up for what's right, fighting for the other ones, even though I'm the one who's had to deal with that difficulty. You know, at some point, I did do my first communion and all that stuff. And that's more on the religious side, where I will link it back to Islam. Now, through all of these difficulties and everything I'm facing, even when one of the schools that I did get accepted to, I ended up not going. But they were straight out telling me, like, I don't know how you're going to manage a school. You're blind.
Yeah.
You know? How many times did I hear that growing up?
Yep.
And
I know that.
right.
I've heard that before.
And, you know, all throughout that, I honestly, I always relied on God at the time. You know, Allah got me through everything. And although I did not mention anything to do with religion, for me, always in the background was God. And I think I can give you 5 minutes real quick of something. Back to 7th grade real quick, okay?
You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, we can leave it and then pick up on the next one, because I just wanted to kind of comment on
Yeah.
what you were saying.
Yeah, okay, so I can give you that 7th grade, because that's one of those years that was really, really difficult. It was a hardship on every level.
So why don't we just save that for the next one?
Yeah.
All right.
And we can just...
And what I wanted to say is I agree with you on that, because a lot of times whenever you hear convert stories, like you said, they kind of give you a quick, brief overview and then jump right to the end.
Right.
But in reality, at least definitely for you, your convert story started from the beginning, pretty much.
It did.
Right? Like that's I think that's the reason why we have all this background.
You want to hear something really quick?
Go for it.
So my mother says that when I was born, okay, I'm just going to give you this little bit, because
Sure.
that's going back to my family, and so I'm not going to get too much into detail. But in any case, she had a nurse who was Muslim. My mother didn't really know she was Muslim at the time, but she was hijabi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and she asked, what do you think you're having? And she was like, I don't know. And but if it's a girl, her name is going to be Yadira. And this nurse, I don't know where she was from, she told my mother, that's a beautiful name, and it means strength. Did you know that? And my mother said, no, I just like the way it sounded. And and the nurse told her, it means strength. And she was like, and I don't know why, but I think you're having a girl. And subhanAllah, like, here I am. And my mother stuck with the name, and that's I think, like you said, basically, I think from when I was born, I think that, you know, this was just kind of where I was meant to be. I didn't know it, and no one else around me knew it, but, you know, we plan, and Allah plans, and He's the best of planners, and He knows where we're headed.
Yep.
And so I think it was just always there, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Well, we're going to stop here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep it going on the next one.
All right, inshallah.
All right. So thank you guys for listening. Please like and subscribe. Go to islambytouch.com to know more about what we do. Donate. You know, spread the word. Let people know that there's a whole different experience being spoken about here. You know,
Make sure you follow us on all our socials.
all the socials. Yes.
Islam by Touch. And if you want to follow me, I'm at Always Yadira.
That's
and
right.
that's on
you
Facebook.
Plug yourself, wife.
I
Go
will.
ahead. Go for
I
it.
will.
I will. What the hell was that? Was that The Simpsons? That was
Yes,
The Simpsons.
it was.
Yes. Oh, man.
You got
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm at Always Yadira. That's on all, like, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's where you can find me.
All right. So make sure you're here next time, guys, where we can take you and will take you behind the blind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.